Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Old Carver Fishing Podcast. Tonight's guest is Minnesotan who is now living in Idaho, the outdoorsman, Noah Berglund. Great stories. It's going to be a great podcast. Let's get into it. You good?
Clear.
Looks good.
I had a burp.
Can't hear myself, but yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Jeez, that sounds horrible. Welcome to Old Carver. Man, this sounds really raspy. I don't know why. How's it sounding, everybody out on that end?
Check.
Welcome to Old Carver Fishing Podcast. Does it sound raspy to you guys or just my headphones?
You sound good.
All right.
Sound good.
All right.
Roll it.
Real good.
I'm Luke Henches.
Good.
I'm Luke Henches. I've been doing this for a little bit now. Ever since I was a guest, I took over. Chewy convinced me it'd be a good idea. Here I am.
It was.
Years later.
He was coming by himself.
I walked in the one day, first time I'd never been in here. He's asking for my autograph. He's giving me, wants a hug. I don't even know the guy.
Why did you leave? What are you talking about?
He's like, we were just watching you on TV.
The only reason why I didn't kick him out is he came in down with Daniel Kennedy.
We did come down. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good trip.
That was
But
the
anyways,
first time I saw you.
I don't know what episode number this is because they did a podcast before I started doing it.
53, I believe.
50.
Can you guys hear me okay?
You sound a little fuzzy.
Just sounds
I
like
do,
crap. Yeah,
How's that?
better.
better.
Oh, that's really good. To my right, we have Scott Goodyman.
Hi.
He is a Norfin Pro Staff, Vexlar Pro Staff. He's an all-around good guy. The Iceman, Scott Goodyman.
The Iceman.
Yeah.
The Iceman.
He does a lot more ice fishing than he does open water. Across from him, we have Danny Two Cats, local river guy here, Old Carver Pro Staff. He just got back from a really cool hunt, which we'll talk about in this podcast.
Is it going to be Dan Two Cats too? Or I thought we changed Stoner Cat.
No.
No, we're
Danny
not.
Two
I
Naps.
got family that listens.
Yeah,
to
what
this.
the hell?
Oh yeah. We wouldn't want your family to know.
And then the mouthy one, across from me that's Chewy Godinez Jr. He's the co-owner of Old Carver Bait and Tackle, Stoked Custom Baits, and Monty Bait and Tackle in Montgomery, Minnesota, which will be open here pretty much full time coming up next week, starting in Montgomery. Big ice fishing area, and then it's going to be a busy store hopefully this winter. Chewy's been working hard making custom baits over there, and
A lot of tungsten painting.
a lot of
It's a
paint.
good thing we got keys to this one over here. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's never going to be here.
No, he won't.
When is the
Oh,
when is the store in Carver going to be open for
2 weeks.
people that want
2
to get ice
weeks.
fishing stuff?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from
Can I
now.
hold you to that?
Yeah, hold him to that.
Oh, what do you think Rika's doing back next door?
Should we make some hot
Rika's-
dogs?
Rika's
It's
kicking
like
ass
a
right
grand
now.
opening.
But our guest is not in here yet, so we're going to talk a little bit about maybe Dan's hunting trip he was just on. We'll talk a little bit about the weather and the ice situation here in Minnesota. Northern Minnesota, there's even North Metro. They're seeing over 4 inches in some lakes up there around here. In the North Metro, whatever you consider
I
that.
feel like I could have found a couple.
Yep, and there's
Around
places
here.
you can go out and be on safe ice, and there's also really scary places you can't go out on yet. So it's always playing it. How comfortable are you going out on 2 inches is kind of the game right away.
Watch
Um,
them freeze.
just make sure you're using your spud bar adequately and have a float suit so your family can find you if you do sink. So that'd be it's kind of what they're for.
Or you
Easy
do what
recovery.
me and my brother do when we go out on the river. We just tie a rope to each other.
Yeah,
When
Yeah.
we go through, and then we just pull each other out.
yeah. Down the river, some guys, I mean, not that people ice fish the river because there's no ice fish in the river, but Some people tie ropes to like a tree on shore just in case.
Oh, we've definitely
yeah.
done
If you go under the, so if you guys don't know this, if you go under the ice in a lake, you can like sit and struggle and try to get out. But if you go under where there's current on a river, you're dead.
You're gone.
You're
It's
not
gonna be
coming
able to
up
hold
where
your
you
breath for a
where you
really
went.
long time.
Yeah.
There's probably an open spot.
Yeah. You'll probably end up where there is one. But the breath gets taken away pretty quick when you're in 30-degree
I couldn't
water.
even
You know?
imagine.
Didn't you tie off once to a 2x4? Was it? Or
No, we
Was it Neo?
like tree
Well,
stumps.
let's
and
see what we
stuff.
got in chat here before we get into the podcast. Noah, I saw just joined.
Yep.
Nobody can see you yet, Noah, if you can hear me, so you're not quite in here yet. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me right now. Okay. We'll get Noah in here in just a second. Let's talk to some people in chat. The Fish Werner Outdoors. I can't wait for this one, but with a W-E-I-G-H-T, which makes it even more meaningful.
yeah, because there's a lot of weight.
And we also have Tony Caton in chat. He is one of the owners of Catch the Fever.
Nice.
He's one of my favorite people. He's my hero, and I like him a lot.
Are they coming out with any ice rods?
Ashley Just, we can't talk about anything they're coming out with. It's all confidential. I'm on a no talk about policy with them. So
Yeah. Luke didn't log out of his email account
I
at
had to
mine, so I got
ask.
to
Ashley Just is in chat. We have no ice yet here in Arizona. No shit, huh? No, in Arizona.
That's a shocker.
They do. You can ice fish in Arizona up by Flagstaff. So I mean, it's a real thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because you can ice fish in New Mexico up towards
Yeah,
Colorado.
I
How
so-
many
Dude.
lakes are up there?
I don't know. There's
Maybe.
Quite a few.
There's
there's a
people
lot
out
of
in
northern
Wyoming right
northern
now.
Arizona is all pine trees and
Yeah.
mountains. So there's
Dry.
lakes up there.
It's like Ruidoso in New
I've been
Mexico.
to
Then you
lakes,
drive
yeah.
2 hours and you go down to Phoenix,
Mhm.
and it's 50 degrees warmer. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was 19 degrees in the morning when I woke up in Flagstaff when I was working out
You don't
there.
get really warm till you like get near the California, near Edinburgh.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But our guest today, we'll talk a little bit about Dan's trip once we get Noah in here.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
This is my friend. I've been friends with him since 8th grade. He's an outdoors guy. He's always been an outdoors guy. He grew up on a farm in Park Rapids, where I'm from. He was a great athlete, great friend, and now we still stay in touch. And Noah, it's a pleasure to have you in our podcast.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking me to come on. It'd be fun to talk hunting for a while anyway.
Yeah, hunting and fishing, because he's really good at both. So he's kind of like me. Is wouldn't you say, no, you're not really out there to catch a limit. You're out there to catch the giant. That's kind of how you've always been.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like his hunt, when he was living in North Dakota, he can talk about this. His goal was to catch the state record. He got really close. Right?
I saw the fish, never did hook it, but
Right. But, like that's his thing. He wants the big stuff. Tell us a little bit about growing up, because I know you're not originally from Park Rapids either. Neither of us were.
no. So yeah, I grew up in Arizona. Dad took us to the mountains all the time, and that's actually what inspired me to elk hunt. You know, I was too little to elk hunt at the time, but him and his buddies would go out for, you know, their week-long trip, and I'd sit in the garage waiting for him to get home and just wishing I could go, you know. But Arizona was growing so fast, it kind of lost its appeal, so parents moved to Minnesota.
And that's where the story starts that's where, what grade did you move to Park Rapids?
It was the Christmas of 7th grade.
So you were there a year longer than me, is all. So that's crazy. You good?
Yeah.
You care, or what are we doing?
They're answering me. They're asking me to send them the link, and I'm telling them where to go.
Send who?
I can't say.
You're not going to have a surprise guest in here.
No.
Yes, you are. So you've been in, how long have you been in Idaho for?
This is technically my third fall.
Third fall.
Nice.
And I knew he was he's big into the deer hunting thing. He's always been into the deer hunting thing. When he moved to Idaho, Jonah was there before you, right?
Yeah, quite a few years actually. I want to say probably 2 or 3 before I got here.
Yeah, so our friend Jonah, who's also from Park Rapids, we both hunted and fished. He was really good friends with Jonah. They were really close, and Jonah moved out there to the Snake River to work on the Snake River, where I sturgeon fish. If you guys have ever seen my sturgeon fishing videos, it's all in the Snake River. All my videos that I've fished for sturgeon on the Snake River have been with Noah here, who's in the podcast. So kind of puts a little perspective on that. But our friend Noah lived out there before. And then Jonah. Yeah.
Common mistake.
Both AAs. Yeah, they're both AAs. And Noah had some life changes and had decided he wanted to move out to Idaho. And then we got into the elk. And I know a lot of people dream about shooting big bulls. And you've had the opportunity, Noah, to tackle some true giants with these. And he only bow hunts too, so it's even cooler.
That's awesome.
And tell us a little bit about your we'll get into fishing after, but I kind of want to get in. I labeled this stream public hunting for elk. That's one on the YouTube for the people watching on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about your first time shooting a big bull in Idaho. The struggles, the shape you need to be in to do the stuff you do. I know you're hiking 70, 80 miles on a trip.
Yeah.
At elevation, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your first time shooting a big bull up in the mountains and how you picked where you're going to hunt on public land, and maybe a little bit about the hunt. And then we can talk a little bit about your elk. So if you guys want to hear a crazy story, he shot a giant bull elk this year, and it got stolen.
What?
Yep. So we'll talk cougar. No, by humans. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, tell us a little bit about your first hunting experience shooting a big bull elk up in the mountains in Idaho.
Yeah, so I can take zero credit for that one, as in any of my knowledge. I was pretty much just the shooter. But we had a group of guys. This was actually the very first fall I was here. Jonah had a tight little group of friends that I'm friends with now too, that this guy, like, if he even looks at a bugle tube, it makes an elk noise. Like, it's pretty cool. And he basically has this spot that his family's been hunting it pretty much forever. They know it like the back of their hand. And this guy was pretty excited. He finally had this crew of guys that he trusted, and go up there, elk hunt, actually be able to pack one out, because it's a ways to get in there and it's pretty rugged. So yeah, I don't want to elaborate too much. I mean, I could tell the story for 2 hours straight. But yeah, actually on our way into this spot, about halfway in, we saw, I don't know, there's like 2 little spike bulls, and our goal obviously was all 4 of us to shoot one. So this guy turns around and kind of looks at the group, and he's like, we're not going to shoot full 4 bulls if we don't start shooting now, So he calls him in and he shoots that one. Another guy missed the other one. So we get all that taken care of. We get it hung in the tree, and we keep heading to where we're going to go camp and everything. We get up there and just kind of relaxing after that steep incline, all that stuff.
How far in were you hiking at this point?
I think this one was right around 3 miles.
Okay.
So I mean, not insane for elk standards, but
people need to realize, if you've never hiked in mountains, 3 miles can be a long ways.
Yeah, it took a long time, and this spot was not trail walking either. I mean, we were walking through thickets, rock croppings. I mean, it was nasty. So we get up there, and the guy's name's Grady. He lets out this like locator bugle, just pretty chill. I don't think anything responds. Well, then they spot some mule deer, and a guy hit a mule deer tag. So we're sitting there glassing them. About 20 minutes later, this kind of raghorn comes walking by at like 80 yards. And we all kind of freak out, get people in position. We worked that bull for probably a good like 40 minutes before he finally like convinced to like come in, So one of the guys in the group took a shot at it, and he hit it, but it probably wasn't the best shot in the world. So we let it rest for a while. We set up camp, did all that. And we went in, going in looking for its blood trail. Started following that. We got probably like a mile back in, and the bull that I shot came crusting over this hill probably like a half mile, just screaming his head off, chasing a cow. So Grady shot his bull. The other guy already shot. Now it's down to me and Jonah. So we kind of get out front, we're the shooters. And this bull is just coming on a string, right?
Are you all bow hunting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And pretty much when this bull's pretty committed, we know the trail he's on, we kind of have an idea where he's going. Another bull pops up behind that one that like dwarfed this one that I shot, like legit true monster for anybody's standards. But you know, there's no way that bull would have made it to us by dark. So me and Jonah kind of look at each other, and I'm like, I'm going up. Jonah went down on this, you know, this side hill. And it's about 10 minutes later, this bull's just screaming, and like 20 yards away, this cow pops up, and she kind of skirts me, and she's heading like to my like downwind, and this bull was right behind her, you know, and I come kind of afraid to draw back. Well, he starts letting out a bugle like right at her rear end, just screaming. So I pull back then. She stopped and stares at me, and I don't even know if I aimed. Like I'm just shaking like crazy. So I put it on him, send it, and it just ripped right through him. I hit him a little back, but I got the liver and the lung.
How far was it?
Nice.
Huh?
How far of a shot?
I think at that time, I think it was like 31.
You want to move that cable out of there so you quit hitting it?
Me?
No,
Oh.
Chewy keeps moving our
Okay.
camera. What are you doing? Oh. God, this is so unorganized. So we have a picture. I would show you I'll pull up the pictures. Let me move this out of the way here.
So how many guys did you have? 4 or 6? What'd you say?
Group 4.
Man, so you had to pull 3 elk out of there? Did you
We
ever
never
find that
actually-
one?
We didn't find that other one. He shot it in the neck, and it was one of those deals. Like if you shoot it in the neck, pretty much if it's not dead in 200 yards, it's not going to die. I mean, you just basically hit flesh. There's so
Right.
many arteries in the esophagus and everything. Like they're not going to live much longer than a couple minutes after you hit that. And if you don't, it's just meat. So that's
That
just all on that
sense.
blood.
Is that this elk, Noah?
Yeah, that's that one.
So he saw one that was way bigger than that,
That's crazy.
and that's a huge elk.
That is.
And was this one? Is the one you shot this year that got stolen? Was that one bigger than this one?
Oh no. So that one, I mean, I scored it. Let's give plus or minus 10 inches, but I scored it at like just shy of 320. It was like 319 something.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
So we got to talk. I just want to hear about this one that got stolen because
So-
that's going to be an awesome story.
So that's the stolen one
But,
right there, right,
I mean,
Noah?
awesome, not in a good way, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that was definitely my most insane day of elk hunting. Like absolutely, we could do no wrong.
Is this it right here?
Yeah.
The one that got stolen?
Yep.
And I think I have. So there's that one. We just showed that. There's the one that got stolen. I think I have another one of you. I love this picture. Is this it? Which one is this?
That's that one that I was with Grady in the group before.
Yeah, that's the big one he shot.
Hell yeah.
Just crazy.
That was so miserable getting out of there. Like obviously, I'm not a tall guy, but there's
That's
two
a
guys
lot of
behind
work.
me through the bush.
And this is the one that got stolen, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that trip. And I know you hiked a long ways for that elk there, that bull.
Yeah, that one was brutal. So, you know, moving out here, I really wanted to like bring my dad out. You know, I'm a close friend that I hunt with, Nick. So, you know, there's no chance I was even gonna ask Grady to like go hunt his stuff. So I picked basically a unit that had no name, right? Nobody talked about it. It was just crap. Like that's kind of what I was looking for because I didn't really want to mess with people. So we did that. I scouted it like crazy. So this is our second.
How big are these units?
They all vary in size, but I mean, I'll never be able to learn in my lifetime. Like no chance. Not all of it. It's just too much. I can't recall like acreage.
They're huge, aren't they?
Oh yeah, like 50 miles by 60, 70 miles.
Do they give out non-resident tags?
Yeah, so it used
For
to be
money.
So when I was going with these guys, you know, because that bull was only whatever 3-4 years ago. You could literally buy that tag as a non-resident over the counter in August. Like Idaho did not sell out of them. It just
Sure.
wasn't a thing. And then the residents would actually buy the excess so they could shoot 2 elk. Once coronavirus
Nice.
started, They sold out within hours. Every single tag on opening day, or that you could purchase tags.
Sure.
And last year, they now have like a virtual waiting room because it's such a popular thing. There was 70,000 people in it. The tags literally sell out in, I don't know, 2 hours.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
So back to the one that was stolen.
Why can't I hear you, Dan?
Back to the one that was
No, I hear
stolen.
you.
Weird.
I got
couldn't
to
hear
hear
you
about
at
this
all.
story.
Yeah, we'll get into it. He's getting into it right now.
No, we keep sidetracking him.
Right. Where do you want me to start? It's a pretty lengthy one.
So you're a long way in with
Start on how many miles you hiked that trip. How many days you were in the mountains?
I think that one we were back in there. I think for 6 or 7, and we probably average 8 or 9 miles a day.
Yeah, so a lot of miles.
So you just call and walk and call and walk? Is that how that works?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, and a guy could elaborate that on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure there's more to it, but
right, the basic premise of it is, I mean, we pretty much turkey hunt them. Like,
yep.
We got a general idea where they're at, where they bed, where they go for water. Hypercritical of the wind, like basically guys and like you never beat it, that. Well, that's probably the difficult part.
Hold on.
Just between being physically capable to get to where they're at and keeping them from smelling you. It's hard. Shooting the thing isn't overly hard. I mean, they're almost like a cow. Like,
right.
They don't like you're there. I mean, that one that I shot, I was just standing in the open, drawing back and everything. Like, did not care.
That's crazy.
After whitetail hunting, it almost feels like, I mean, I wouldn't say cheating, but it's such a different,
bigger target.
I think your connection's getting bad, Noah. You're lagging out.
I don't know what I can do about that.
We got to get you on that good juice. I don't know what's going on. Are you on 4G or what?
No, I'm on Wi-Fi and everything.
Oh, you are?
Hmm?
No, now it's working fine. It was cutting out a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So you got up into the mountains. How many of you were there were you on this trip?
It's just me and Nick now.
Okay.
So just 2 of us, which it's, after you shoot one, it's so much work.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's a lot to carry out.
The ideal thing is that group of 4 or even 5, because, basically everybody gets a quarter, you split up. It's possible to get it out in one shot. No way with 2 guys. Like, not close.
No, when you guys go out, do you guys plan how far distance you guys are going to walk, or it's just whatever the day takes you to?
Yeah, we actually have it planned quite well. It's about an hour forward ride, and then it's 2 miles from there, and we set up camp at like the 2 mile marker. And at that location, we got access to water within like a quarter mile. I actually go in there early and cut a bunch of wood and stuff. He's got that little hot tent set up, little titanium stove. We can dry out all of our clothes every day, and in the morning it's just nice to not be cold.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then from there, the closest spot, I mean, it's only maybe a half mile, and then we can go about 5 from there. So total from like the 4 would be like 7 miles.
Damn.
So it's still so far.
That's crazy.
I don't see you doing it.
No, I don't either. I don't see you doing it either.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
what are you talking
right.
about? I can go out there with Noah.
You can hardly walk.
I'm gonna hit that bugle. You didn't even know, bro.
Oh
Okay,
god.
we were rocky on that bugle shit.
That's what he said when he said
talking about?
duck call, and he called, and I was laughing so hard.
Well, you don't call any better.
Oh my gosh, you're horrible.
Have you guys seen his short
You're
on rods and reels that he put out with him and Ted? Jesus.
Could you even tell which one was me?
The worst one?
The best.
No, it was not. You're not better than Tut.
You know who called? Oh yeah, 100%.
Are you really?
Yeah. He knows.
Tut's not on.
Noah's way better than me, so we'll just say that. Yeah, I call all the time. This kid loves it. He's got a little boy. He loves watching him call.
So whenever you scout, like, are you going in ahead of time and then just watching and kind of listening to what they're doing, or are you setting up trail cameras, or how are you doing that? Just looking at sign as you go, or?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of lazy on that part. I do a lot of aerial, to satellite images. I don't get in there too early because they'll usually switch to patterns. They actually run a lot of sheep out there too. That'll change up how the elk move around. So I mean, when I do go in there, it's more or less just to kind of like start getting conditioned a little bit. Because even from where I'm living now, it's another 2,000-3,000 feet above this. So
makes sense.
So I don't really mess with it too much. And I'm doing other things, like I fish a ton and stuff like that. And we kind of luckily kind of ace this spot. Like there's a lot of elk there, not many people. It's actually horrid to get into. The first time we went in, we had a group of 4 guys, and yeah, they don't have any interest of going back in.
Jeez. Well, tell us a little bit about your stolen elk. We're getting off track again.
No. So
Poor Dan.
I'll skip through until I'll just kind of blow through the hunting part pretty quickly. The night before, or maybe it's 2 nights, whatever. It was my buddy's turn to hunt. We switch off every day, and we usually flip a lighter or something of like who gets to go first.
Right.
So anyway, it's like 2 days before this, he drew back and almost got a bull that was like a bona fide 380 plus. Like he's never seen an elk this big, even like, just a true giant for anywhere else. Just didn't even know one existed like that there. And he made the right call, very, very hard call to make. He drew back on it 50 yards broadside. It wasn't moving. He just started to shoot. It started walking on him back to his cow because we called it in, and got it all revved up. And he didn't feel comfortable doing it and didn't want to wound it. So we knew that bull was there. We never spooked one. So that morning that I shot this bull, we actually had that bull in again at about 30 yards. Where we were at, it was so thick and steep, we couldn't even see it. We could just see like kind of the top of his rack and knew it was him. And he had probably like a dozen cows with him. So we started basically trailing him and his cows. It's not very likely to actually spin that herd back around from where they're going. So we were behind them. They're moving away from us. So we just kept trailing them, learning the area. And during this process, I think we called in 4 more bulls.
Damn.
And both of us, we're actually getting disgusted with them because we got to this one spot and there was a bull probably like 1,500 feet above us. And we're like, ugh. So we go up there, we make a play on him. We got close, it didn't happen. And while we're up there, we called again, a bull like 1,500 feet below us goes off. And we're like, we did that 4 times, up and down. It's like, we're getting hungry. And like the last one, we're like, this is a joke. Like, this is stupid. So we go down there, we work and whatever, we shoot it. Super excited. There's a whole long story to that. So anyway, the thing dies in like 60 yards. We're super jacked up about it. We get it all taken care of. The thing in the back of our mind, there's this giant rainstorm coming, like 3 days solid rain. And up there, if it rains more than like a quarter inch, like you're done. You cannot walk in it. It's just clay. Literally not possible, at least for us. Like, no way. So we know that's happening. So we get it all taken care of. We carry out what we can to camp. And the next morning, we take it up all the way up top where our 4-wheeler is. And there's actually an outfitter up there. And he saw us and he's like, hey, if you tell me where that bull is, I'll go get my mules. And we're like, that's the most amazing thing we've ever heard in our lives. Like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, yeah, no problem. No big deal at all. We're like, oh, okay. So we walk back in. We get to that elk. And we literally carry the rest of that elk down like 2,000 feet, like in one shot. It was the heaviest pack I've ever carried. They're definitely like around 100 pounds each, and the rack. And we're just dying getting down there. The second we get it down there, it just starts that horrible thunderstorm downpouring. So we make it super obvious where this elk is, and we know nobody else is going down there in this rain. Like, no chance. So I take like an orange paracord, kind of mark where it's at, tell this guy everything. We go back up, pack up our camp, we get out of there. waiting for his phone call the next day. Yep, I'll have it in 2 hours, all this stuff. I'll actually take it out and put it where your truck was parked, like 15 miles from there. Because that's where he was parked too. So I was like, this is awesome. So Nick's like, yeah, dude, no big deal. I'm just probably just gonna go home then, and we'll split up meat, during like a ski trip or something like that. And so I call that guy 2 hours. I'm like, hey, I'll get my stuff loaded up. You ready for me? He's like, oh, another guy got an elk. I won't be able to get it today. So I'm like, crap. Okay. Tomorrow? Yeah. No big deal tomorrow. So the next day happens, and then still nothing. He just kept blowing me off, and I'm like, I can't wait anymore. And the meat's completely fine. It's like 30 degrees up there. It snowed, super, super cold. It never got above like 35. So now it's just me. I got pretty much over half an elk up there still. So Jonah was only available Sunday. Brittany actually offered to help. So I'm like, all right, I'll go in on Saturday, get what we can, and then me and Jonah will finish it up Sunday. So we get in there at like noon. We actually run into that guy, and he's like, oh, well, I'll probably actually follow you in there. And we're just like, what, man? So, from that floor there, I think it was like 4.2 miles to get to that elk. So we head in.
Crazy.
And, I'm pretty excited about it. The kind of adrenaline's up, get ready for this big pack out. And we get there, I see my orange cord and everything. Kind of look over there, like, I don't see the rack. And I'm like, it's kind of my fear anyway. I'm like, this thing's been sitting down there. There's a ton of bears. Like, me and Nick got a lot of bear stories where it's pretty sketchy. But so I walk down there, and I'm just kind of like looking around for this rack. I'm like, that rack with the skull probably weighs 40 pounds. I'm like, nothing carried it that far. Looking around. Well, then on the tree, I noticed one of my game bags is gone. And I'm like, oh, it's definitely a bear. I'm like, this sucks. So I go look over there, and all the meat's laying on the ground and in the creek below the tree. And just the game bag's gone. I'm like, so you're telling me a bear came, took my game bag, didn't want any meat, and wanted my head? I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So I'm starting to kind of get pissed off, I'm like, who would do this? Why? And there's only like 2 sets of dirt bike tracks on this like horse trail. And there's nothing else, right? And all the tracks were clean from all that rain. So I'm just like, and when you're that far in there, it's not like you can go back and look or anything. We're just no idea what to do. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then also like on my game bag string, it's like cut perfectly clean. Like it didn't look like it was teared off the tree, because I kept trying to like blame it on a bear, but no way. So now we're in a situation, her and I, it's like, all right, not most of the meat. I actually went down and like salvaged probably like 40 pounds of it. But it's like, if me and Jonah were to come back on Sunday, that pretty much 8.5 mile round trip, thered be like 30 pounds left. So yeah, we packed up all of it, which was, she probably carried 40 pounds and mine was probably like in the 80s. And so we went in there at noon and we got back out, I think just to the four-wheeler, it was probably almost like 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, we never quit moving, right? I mean, God.
Yeah, how far of a four-wheeler ride is it again, just to get out there?
It's about 12 to 15 miles, but it takes like an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're out there.
Yeah, we don't see many people.
Right.
It's a way to be.
Yeah, that's what's sweet about that. Well,
You think it was that outfitter that?
No, I haven't talked to him. One of the nights when me and Nick were coming out of there, we actually warmed up in their tent because we had a long night too, of like 1 or 2 in the morning. We went in their tent. It was all raining and nasty, and we're like freezing to death. So we went in their tent, kind of warmed up, and they had a group of guys in there from Colorado.
Yeah.
We were talking with them, and one guy's like, "Hey, you want my number? In case you guys roll your four-wheeler or need help, whatever, at least you got a contact." So like, yeah, cool. So I actually called him, after this all happened. I'm like, what was that guy like? Like, would he do something like this? And he's like, no, actually that dude just didn't have his stuff together. He's like, because that same guy I called, he actually shot an elk the next day. and the guy didn't even go get his elk. Go pack out his own elk. He just wasn't. It was his first year doing this outfitting thing, so he was wildly unprepared. And there was no tracks. I mean, you wouldn't be able to hide, anything basically going in there to get it. There's no tracks in the head, like nothing. Just dirt bike tracks. So, yeah, I'm hopefully just the way that happened, somebody wasting meat. It was a couple high school kids on dirt bikes saw the rack and were like, dude, let's take it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look who's breathing in the mic. It's you? Oh.
Me?
Oh, no, it's not you.
No.
You good? Okay.
I'm listening to the story.
Yeah.
It's not me, is it?
Yeah. It was you. So, moral of the story is someone jacked your elk.
Yeah, certainly.
That sucks.
A couple of high school kids on dirt bikes.
At least it wasn't a state record, but that still really sucks.
Right. No, and
Was it your biggest?
It wasn't as big as.
No.
if I was to guess, probably put it at like 260 inches, probably.
Well, Luke says you're always going after the record. So what's the record?
I think it's actually the world record, if I can recall. It's called the Spike Bowl. Actually, a guy from Idaho shot it, I think, in Utah.
Yeah.
They actually auctioned off that tag for it. It was like $100,000.
How much?
It was like $100,000 this guy paid.
Holy cow.
100,000?
It was on someone's private land?
I actually don't think so. I almost think an outfitter knew where this bull was on public, I think. I can't recall.
Yeah.
But basically, they were super confident they could kill it. They had the outfitter tag, and they kind of auctioned it off.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Well, we're gonna look at some of your pictures from your Idaho so far, okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
You can talk a little bit about some of them. I think this is from the Dakotas, right? North Dakota?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
So he did a lot of walleye, smallmouth, and muskie out in the Dakotas, a lot of duck hunting. He got onto those. Is that a Missouri River fish or a lake fish?
Yeah, it's actually Sakakawea when it flooded. Those fish push super, super shallow. And probably for like 4 days straight, we went in there with swim baits. And it was pretty much just like bass fishing. Like, it was awesome. We
That's
catch
cool.
That's sweet.
25 of them a night that were all like, I don't know, probably 24 to 27 inches.
That's really cool.
I like that one.
What is this, Noah?
Brown trout?
That's a brown trout. We do a lot of that when I'm in Idaho with Mr. Noah. And that's the new addition.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Look at that.
That's the little guy. He's gotten a lot bigger now. That's Brittany and Hank.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was along. Brittany packed out the bull that we shot last year when she was 5 months pregnant.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And I had to rib a couple of my buddies because I'm like, oh, my elk unit's so hard. I'm like, my 5-month pregnant girlfriend packed out an elk out of it.
Right. There's another. I know this area. He's fishing here. We fish here a lot. That's a beautiful brown.
Yeah, it is.
There's a nice trout. And this this year, Noah? This big whitetail you shot? Or is that a whitetail or a mule?
Whitetail. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Nice.
It's quite. How many? How big was that deer?
Probably like 120 inches, I suppose.
Okay, respectable, huh?
Yeah, so I've never hunted that area. Didn't know the potential of it. My big thing I basically only hunt animals that I can call in. Like every
Right.
buck I've ever shot, I've called in. Can't claim that for elk, but it's been called in. I just love how they come in all pissed off and kind of do what you want, kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah, that was the first day that I was there. It was about 5 miles by boat. I just set up the little hot tent and just kind of went exploring, set up a stand.
Is that it right there?
Yeah.
Nice whitetail.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is it? Yeah.
What do you mean? Only me.
And then there's That's his dog Copper. That's his
That
kid.
whitetail actually died in the water. That was the first time that's ever happened to me. It was pretty wild.
Oh, that's crazy. So you got some greenheads, some golden eyes.
What is it, lab?
Seems like they always go to the water to die.
Copper's
Yeah,
a good.
it was insane. So it was only about 50 yards from where I shot it. It took off running. I just heard a big sploosh, and it was just dead quiet. And I'm like,
I really hope that's not deep.
I'm like, did I miss? I'm like,
Right.
I smoked that thing. I'm like, what's going on? So I walked over there, once I got all my stand out of the tree and everything, and found the blood right away. Just put my lamp up in the, it was pretty much like a little, it flooded really bad this spring. I didn't really say flooded anyway. It was really high water. So it's just over that, like back in those river bottoms.
Yep.
And I put my headlamp up. I see this body floating in the middle of it. I'm like, how do I get that?
Right. That's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That's a big bass. Is that in Lake Fork?
No, that one's actually in Minnesota.
That's in Minnesota, huh?
That was right before I moved
Minnesota
here. I gave Minnesota one more go in the fall. Well, it's probably like September, I think.
Just for giggles. There's a good one for you. That's a meaningful one.
Oh yeah.
That's Father and Don. Living their best life there with Noah. Did they got in some fish too, didn't they?
Yeah, really good this year actually. I think Mom caught like a 23-inch brown. And then I think we got like 2 more about that same caliber.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. It's nice to get the parents out.
Yeah.
That's Lake Fork, Texas, if you guys don't know. Him and Brittany went down there and did some bass fishing down in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Skeeter, right?
Yeah.
They took the Skeeter down there, and I've seen that one. There's the best friends right there.
What is it? A lab? What is it?
It's a lab.
It's a lab?
Yeah.
You train them yourself, or did you send them, or did you get a...
No, I just trained them myself. I mean, I wouldn't brag about him, but I basically do everything by myself, and he does just fine. He gets all the birds, and he's finally learning his patience. He's a little squeaky, but now this year he did really, really good. I didn't have to leash him or anything. He stayed content.
He's a good boy.
And that's only you only waterfall with him, or you don't do
No, I do pheasants and basically a couple of
them. So does he flush or does he point?
A little bit of both. I wouldn't say
stocks.
He doesn't dive in after the bird's hard, but I mean, obviously not to the caliber of like a short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when we were there, Noah had his ground blind for him that he lays in, and he'd try to bring the biggest stick in the yard in there, and he could never get it in. And then Noah's he's like, hide. Isn't that your word? What you say, hide?
Yeah, he puts his head down.
Yeah, he'll go dive in his blind, and then he'll say hide, and he'll get lower in the blind, so he can. It's freaking hilarious.
I mean, there's realistically no true application for that, but it's kind of cute.
It's funny. Let me find. We already saw that. There's that's when me and Noah were out in white sturgeon fishing.
That's the last picture.
That's Noah looking at me.
And then scroll down. Scroll down. Keep going. And then there should be a video there.
What are these?
That's Dan.
Oh, okay.
Go.
We're gonna look at it right here.
There you go.
We're gonna look at this video, Noah.
Oh gosh, it's resting.
Yep. All right. What?
Play it.
What were you pointing at?
Oh, so you can unmute.
It does it by his. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So just a preface of this video we're gonna watch. We're fishing right next to these rocks, and there's a little ledge you can stand on in the water. And if you go, you'll see the dark at the edge of where he's standing in the water holding this sturgeon. How deep is it below those rocks?
If I can recall correctly, it's like around like 70 feet.
Yeah, so if you take one step off the rock, it's 70 feet deep, straight down. And you can see when he's bringing this fish in.
Oh gosh, it's resting.
Yep. All right, guys, my phone died, but
I don't have your phone. I don't know what I did.
I have it in my hand. Okay. We're gonna get the release here. Giant fish. Super sweet fish.
Careful.
I think it's ready.
Yeah.
Over 7 feet.
Go for it, bud.
Giant. And it just needs to get flipped over, and it is gonna rock.
Oh my God! Be careful.
All right.
Send her. I got her. Yep, I got her. What a giant. Going up into the rocks. And he turned. Running the rock edge. Hell of a fish, Noah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Get in.
Water's 45 degrees, you guys, in case you're curious.
Get in, bud.
Sick fish.
It's pretty cool.
And Brittany's just worried about you the whole time.
Right.
Oh god.
Hands on all those bats on the boat.
Right. Oh, I got to scroll back up and minimize this. Hide. So yeah, we've done that. You know, I've been to Idaho perch fishing a few times, but I hasn't been. Me and Noah haven't done it yet. Have you even gone to Cascade yet, Noah?
Not yet. Just been so busy.
Maybe this winter we can get out there.
Damn.
Yeah, plan on it. We got actually a lake pretty close to me too that has, I mean, obviously nothing to the caliber of the Cascade, but there's like a lot of like 10 to 12 inches in it.
That'd still be fun.
The
Yeah,
game
no-
manager or the fisheries manager, he made like a little YouTube video on it, and I haven't even looked. I don't think there's a limit on perch here, right?
There's not on Cascade.
No, they're
Right, so-
considered a pest out on Cascade, aren't they?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
the
not.
fisheries manager just like, just come out here. He's like, you will never kill all these fish. There's so many.
Yeah,
He's like, it's ridiculous.
it's pretty crazy. You know, back in the day, I think the average size was a little. The little fish on Cascade wouldn't even use. They didn't even used to bite, and now the little ones are starting to eat out there, which I don't know why. But what's interesting is when you see groups of perch, typically around here, they're big schools, right? And when you go to Cascade, they're in like groups of 2, 3, or 4, and they come in hard and they just smoke your stuff like a hungry walleye. It's crazy. And that's the thing with those Cascade perch, you're actually jigging walleye-sized baits when you're fishing for them too, which is kind of cool. No live bait allowed out there in Idaho at all.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that right, Noah?
Yeah.
So, like, if you could use minnows and stuff, like we talked about that, if you could legally use like a slip bobber with like a shiner or something for brown or rainbows where he fishes, it would be stupid. But you got to trick them all.
Yeah. It's also, it's kind of cool though too, because they eat artificial so well in the absence of live bait, you know? So yeah, I mean, I would imagine if you're the first person to, I'm sure if you guys use live bait here, I mean, obviously, but
I
Yeah,
would imagine so. All I know is when I go down there, I've been there a couple times now with Noah's. We split up the trip. Like the first day we do the brown trout and stuff, and we're like in his bass boat in between 2 canyons of rocks and right in town fishing waterfalls, and it's beautiful there. If you've seen the videos of us trout fishing, it's really, really cool. Nobody else has ever. We have never seen another boat out there since I've been there with you. It's crazy.
not many. I mean,
It's like people don't even like to fish.
right.
That's what it feels like. It's
It's a
weird.
good state to be in.
They just go grab their set lines.
We had a
waste
guy-
Time on
We
that.
had a guy come by us. Him and his wife. Him and this guy and his wife came by us in a floating boat, and he's like, "Oh, the bite's horrible." And me and Noah like look at each other, and we are just pounding the trout. And, so I haven't caught anything yet, and everyone wants to fly fish and do all that stuff, but it can be so much more efficient just to throw crankbaits and jerk baits or plastics.
Yeah.
I ordered Noah some Japanese. What were they called, Noah? I don't even know.
Uh,
They're like a hard head with a soft body. They're
Yeah.
Japanese bait, but he said they worked.
yeah, they work well.
So like a twitch bait, kind of a finesse bait a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, if you find a current seam on the river, it's the Snake River, up where he lives, and you can catch trout. It's pretty easy. It's fun. It's really fun.
Why can't you use live bait?
It's just no live bait allowed. You can use like wax
don't.
worms and stuff like
Can you
that.
keep trout?
That's how invasive
Yeah, you can keep
species
trout.
get into places.
How often do you keep trout, Noah?
I don't
Um,
know.
usually I'll run it to the lake. It's stocked heavily. Like it's ridiculous. Pretty much right when the ice goes out, I'll probably keep, I don't know, 12 to 15 and call it good for the year.
Yeah. Are those stock trout pretty good up there?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Have
Not
you tasted the difference between the wild?
I've heard there is.
Um,
Like it depends though.
I don't know.
Our stock trout here are garbage compared to wild trout.
That's what I've heard. Like it depends on different places, but yeah.
Like, you know, Long Lake,
Right.
up by
Yes.
where we're from, they're great in there, but the stock trout around here are garbage.
I don't know if it changes much, but I don't keep any like stock fish for that year. I'll wait and I'll catch a size fish that would be like the second year in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the stocked ones, are like 12 to 15 inches. So usually I'll keep them like 18 to 21.
Okay, that's cool. I'm excited to get out there again. I know I keep bugging you. I was like, I need to just come out there and.
Yeah, this
Well,
newfound
maybe we
water
could drive
trout-
out there and stop by Fort Peck on the way through.
Fort Peck would be fun. Have you done Fort Peck, Noah?
No, a lot of my North Dakota buddies go out there though, and they do really well.
Wouldn't that be on the way?
What?
Wouldn't that be on the way to
I
Idaho?
fly there.
You'd fly?
I do fly there.
Oh.
I don't drive to Idaho. It's too far.
Yeah, it's like 18 hours, I think.
It's like you spend 2.5 days just driving. I don't want to do that.
That is
Oh,
a lot of
it's-
time.
18 hours?
Yeah, dude. It's a long
How is
drive.
how is 18 hours 2.5 days?
It's not 2.5
No,
days.
it's there and back. You're spending 2.5 days if you're
Oh.
stopping. If you're
Oh.
by yourself,
Me and Chewy are like,
You guys will
yeah,
figure it out.
I drive straight through. I'd probably be there in about
I'll
15.
fly there in 3 hours. And Noah,
We'll
Noah
get back
picks
to the
me up.
podcast. We'll see
Noah
tomorrow
picks me up
9.
at the airport. That's way easier than driving 18 hours.
We went driving by yourself. Yeah,
Hey
I can
Noah,
see.
pick me up at the airport at 5. All right. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Set up.
I fly with my graph. I fly with my ice rods. I fly with my ice reels. I fly with my ice gear. That's it.
How do you pack
But on the
them?
way
Just
to,
good rod case?
we got to stop at Fort Peck.
I would go to Fort Peck just to fish Fort Peck. I wouldn't even go to
How
Idaho.
far is that from here?
Out of it.
Fort Peck's like 12 hours, I think. 10 hours.
It's on the way.
Oh, it's Fort Peck's amazing fishery for lake trout, and there's huge walleye in Fort Peck.
Yeah, the recent tournament out there this year, one of my old coworkers fished it. I forgot the winning weight, but it was ridiculous. Like huge.
Astronomical.
I know. I want to go. I want to try it.
I really want to still get out to.
He does the salmon out there, and yeah, he does pretty good. I think they get lake trout too, I believe.
And Fort Peck.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of lake trout in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what literally like what's famous for is catching 100 lake trout in a day. It's nuts.
I just want the big one.
There's some. I mean, I wouldn't go there to catch a giant, but I would go there to catch a big one.
Want to see a nice walleye? This is Dan's brother right here. I took off the background because I know you guys are touchy.
Everyone knows where it is, anyways.
So, whatever.
Oof.
That's a big one. How big was that, Dan?
27.5.
That's it?
Yeah. The thing is fat though.
Yeah. How much did it weigh?
Yeah, it's
I
a
have
tank.
no idea. He caught a 25 with the biggest belly I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
So my roommate mounted a 28-inch that was almost 11 pounds.
I don't know if I sent you that one, Drew, but it was
Did they get
Yeah.
that agate cleaned up?
not that good. You're gonna have to like give him instructions. But either way, I've done nothing but just net big walleyes.
This year? You haven't caught one? I haven't either.
It has to be.
And I'm okay with it because I'm fishing with my brother and dad. So
Me and Chewy probably caught 30 walleye the other day.
Come more than that.
At least 30.
yeah,
It was good.
I've seen you've been just
Did you see my first walleye?
flopping limits.
This is- This is my first walleye. No, this is the best your buddy can do for me.
That sounds about right.
In all fairness, that was like the
That's-
smallest one he caught that whole day. So.
That's like the best he can do for me.
Oh, you didn't black out the background there?
Honestly, it was amazing. It was amazing. He even got. It took him
Dude, there was like 30 people there.
my 10 to fit.
What?
My 10
That
fish
ain't no
for him to
secret.
catch one until he figured out what he was doing.
What, you guys,
I couldn't. I can't.
there's 30 people there.
He just couldn't do it. No,
I
there
couldn't
was-
do it. I couldn't feel that rod is really, really light. Is what medium light?
He was
Medium
holding
light
it.
fast. Is that what it was?
No, it's you can feel everything with that rod. It's just he was holding the rod
Hold
wrong.
on, hold on.
I was trying to. I'm holding
What
it
is-
like a bass rod, like I'm drop shotting.
He's holding it really low on the
yeah.
reel. Like,
I had to like put my hand up when he wasn't watching because every time I move that he'd correct me. But when he wasn't watching, I'll put my hand up a little bit more up the reel.
Oh,
then I
yeah.
can feel the bottom. Then I can feel it. Then I'll be like, oh, he took my bait.
yeah, when I'm vertical jigging, my fingers are always on the rod blank
Yeah.
above the reel.
above the reel.
Yeah.
If you
He
try to
wasn't
if
doing
you try
that.
to set the hook with your pole on the bottom,
Yeah, that's
if it's
why
a
he was-
big one, it's gonna rip your fucking pole out of your hand.
Yeah,
They
true.
didn't rip shit. They didn't rip not a damn thing. I caught every single one, well, except for the
Especially
ones
with
that I lost.
motion.
Well, I couldn't get that feel, but play that.
Hold on, I gotta read some comments. We got 5 new ones.
Oh man.
Mike, what's up, Mike? Rosno, man, I want a Hellcat ride. You gotta buy one. You can get one. Did you break that PB picture, Chewy? Yeah, he broke that. Easy. So what's your plans for this winter, Noah? What do you have going on? What is your plan?
My plans. I was basically gonna partridge hunt until that closes. Duck season's open until January 31st.
Are you gonna do it in a pear tree or not in a pear tree?
Maybe like a huckleberry patch or something.
Huckleberry would work too. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's would be relevant anyway. Then I'll probably get back up to Henry's and ice fish that.
That's the trout lake, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's giants in there. Like, it's pretty impressive. This deep water trout bite that I'm on right now too is very impressive. So I'll probably keep doing that until it freezes up.
When's your next weekend off?
This weekend.
Oh, it's too soon. I'll be gone.
Well, I mean, I don't work any weekend, so.
Oh, well, let's figure out a weekend. I'll come down there. Let's do some fishing.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But yeah, we appreciate you coming on, telling some stories. If you guys want any of his waypoints where he hunts, he'll give them to you on Instagram. You can find him on Instagram at Find Your Own Spots. Find Your Own Spots 85 at Gmail. Other than that, if you guys do have any questions on elk hunting, he probably won't answer them, but we can have him on again. I know you only want to get into so much detail about where you're at and what you're doing. I mean, it takes a lot of work to get out there in the mountains and find those elk. So, and that's even like elk shed hunting. You can only do it in certain times of the year there when they open it, because isn't it crazy or something like that?
Crazy?
Elk shed hunting. People are nuts.
Oh, definitely a giant hobby out here.
Yeah.
Especially with elk, because they sell them per pound, and obviously elk antlers are heavy, and people really go crazy for them.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But we do appreciate you coming on here. Hopefully, love to see you soon, and we'll get together, and maybe we'll have you on again during the ice season, and we can talk a little bit about your ice fishing season up there in Idaho.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
That'd be awesome.
Well, thank you, Noah. We'll talk
if
soon.
you need a guy next year to come with elk hunting and keep an eye on your kills, I'm your guy.
He'll watch him good. He'll sit there the whole time. He'll build a
I'm a great
campfire and
leader.
everything.
There's 4 guys. 3 of them will help you carry. The other one will tell them where to go.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
Thanks,
All right,
Noah.
everybody. Thanks, Noah. Anyways, you didn't even let me finish, but I don't know. You might want to. It might be a little loud, but this was the ride. So Luke took me out, right, and Luke said, it's gonna be really cold.
Are you sitting on the floor?
Yeah. Look at my.
Dude, there's a nice little perch right next to Luke. You gotta cuddle up right next to him there.
Well, anyways, told me, it's gonna get really cold. Sit behind me. Holy shit, was it cold?
I told him, I was like, "What did you bring?" And we're going to the ramp, and he's wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I was like, "What, dude?" I said, "It's 28 degrees out. We're gonna go 35 miles an hour."
It was only cold. It was only cold for what, 10 minutes? I mean,
to the spot. But I said, "Dude," he's like, "Do I need these?" So I made him. We came back. I made him grab his boots and his jacket.
Oh, stupid.
So you guys do minnows, or is it all artificial?
Minnows.
So it was so cold, I gave up on it, and I almost did equally good with.
Yeah. This
I'm throwing plastics and catching them too.
This is what I was.
My hands are
Bring your fishing pole up. All the way up. Bring it up so you can see it. There you go. Slow. Oh, yeah.
Like playing that video.
That's fun.
permanent.
That's why
Man.
that's first best.
Wyatt's
Yeah.
been catching fish. He loves netting fish.
Does he?
Yeah.
Anyways,
And he's really good at grabbing a minnow when you need a minnow. I mean, he doesn't.
That's
Nice.
nice.
He was out there for
Got him
4
trained.
hours. I mean, it was
Oh crap!
This-
huh?
this-
32 degrees. He was just tough.
this was me that day that Luke took me out.
Don't play no games.
Tell him what you did to him.
I laid the smack down on him.
Tell him how'd you catch him.
Got down there and amongst them.
That was me on
That was
that
a
day.
fun day. We
Laid
caught
the
a lot of
smack
fish.
down on him.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
we caught a lot of fish. Once you got the hang of the feel for it,
It was really
started
hard.
catching them.
I never really cared to fish for walleye, but he took me last year. We went in
You get
October.
on a good bite through a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, we were on a good
Oh,
bite.
we were on a good bite, and then
I was getting bit every 5
and
seconds.
then Luke would piss me off because he's watching me, right, and he's like, "You don't got a minnow." I'm like, "What do you mean I don't got a minnow?" No. The hell, I couldn't feel it. So it took me a long time for me to like feel the rod, feel the bottom,
And then
you
he's
know,
jigging it too much. It's like,
I'm
all you
jigging
gotta
it 'cause
do
I'm,
is,
you know,
all you gotta do is raise it off the bottom just to feel if there's a fish there or if it gets bit. I said, you're not jigging to actually jig.
Oh,
yeah.
It's not like a normal
Yeah.
jig.
Once it said,
I've
just
been
get it off the
It
bottom
can
and
be.
drop it.
It can be.
3-footer.
No, but he had a live minnow on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like just barely just.
You don't have to
I can
do
just feel the
anything.
bottom. Like not
You
even
can
a second.
literally do this and they'll get bit.
I do like the 3-footers, so that way when they land on top
Yeah.
of them, you catch them in the underlip.
So then
Yeah,
my hands
snag 'em.
off. My hands off. My hand did get all frozen because we're getting the minnows and we forgot the scoop, so we're grabbing the minnows. We dropped we threw water out of the bucket and getting minnows, and my hands were just getting frozen and frozen. Then their eyelids are all frozen, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
We fished till we ran out of bait.
Yeah,
It said 2 scoops when
It
we picked
was
up
just a
bait.
scoop.
It was
It
maybe
was
a
a
half
scoop,
of
yeah.
1 scoop.
I gave that. I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah, he'll do better next time when we go pick up bait. But
Just for example, when he's scooping the bait, when you get a scoop, guys, it's usually a heaping scoop, and you put your hand over it and put it in the bag.
Yeah,
This guy scooped it. Half of them jumped out, and it was 1 scoop. It's like, that is not a scoop.
And then he wanted to put
usually the
oxygen.
people
tell you
there
what,
use
He
the
wanted to
bigger
put oxygen in the bag, and I'm like, upper, I don't need oxygen. Just give it to me. I'll show you
Tell
how
you
to
what,
trap oxygen.
you want to know what's even worse? When I was in Nebraska, Kansas, fishing Milford Reservoir, wow, we found the crappies, and we decided to buy some crappie minnows, fatheads. They were fatheads. You pay per minnow.
Mhm.
It's like $8 for 12 minnows.
Yeah,
It's
12
crazy.
fatheads.
And I was like, "But what do you mean?" I said, "I'll just take a scoop." She's like, "No, it's per minnow." I was like, "Oh
They're about
my
like 60,
gosh.
70 cents.
More than
around
that." It sucked.
That's a lot of
It
money.
was expensive.
It
What do we
is.
got here? What are people saying?
Stuff.
Howdy, y'all. Wybot, grilling clams, my man. I missed earlier. Are you talking while hunting?
No,
What? Oh no.
no, we're not.
Were you having someone come in here or something?
No. I just wanted to. So remember, I guys talked to you about Frisch Werner. Last time I couldn't download his pictures and stuff, and he has a YouTube channel and he's here local, and so I finally I figured out how to download them correctly. So I'm just gonna play a little video for you guys to see.
How old's this kid? Where does he live?
I think he's 12, 13. around
12-year
there.
old? There's a little
Yeah.
shovel nose. Ooh, that's a big drum.
Yeah. And there's ice rods that he made. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But anyways, you guys are gonna go up, subscribe First Warner Outdoors.
Yeah.
He's got 700 subs.
700 subs. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
He's gonna be.
That's
He's gonna
pretty-
get up there, man. I'm,
Tell you
I'm
what,
really looking forward to watching. him.
What's
Girl.
his name?
Trevor, I believe.
What is it?
Hold on. Oh, shooting the blanket. Jacob Warner.
Jacob. If those are all legit subs, which I hope they are.
I get him confused with Trevor Warner.
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder if they're related. No, I don't think they're
Anyways,
related.
if those are legit and those are real subs, you're doing really good.
Yeah.
That's a really good number to have. I remember when we started YouTube, our first channel, when we grinded really hard for that first 1,000.
Yeah.
And don't ever let go of that. Don't ever forget
Yeah.
you were at 700 subs, because that 700 is going to turn into 7,000. Then you're going to hit 20,000. And then you're going to start looking up to different people. And that's a good
Yeah.
thing. People you're looking up to, you're going to pass.
Yeah.
If you keep striving for what you want to strive for, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then you're going to see people with 1 million subs, you're like, I want to get up to there. And then you're going to strive for that. I mean, that's just really how it works. You lose concept of size when you start growing. Because when we really started, like Detro was huge.
Yeah.
He had like 5,000 subscribers. And then within like 6 months, we had 12,000. And we still liked watching his videos, but you see things from a different angle at that point. Then you realize like it's just a lot of hard
Yeah.
work.
And he's young, so a lot of kids his age connect with him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a good thing. He's you haven't met him yet because when you weren't here when he came by, but he's really well mannered, well spoken, and you can just tell that
If you can be
he's gonna
authentic
up there.
and
Yeah.
have a little energy and promote yourself to your age group on YouTube, you can
Are
get.
you gonna bring him on?
Yeah. Well,
I think we should.
we can at some point, but it just we
First
gotta,
off,
we gotta behave.
the
Yeah.
age is an issue.
Yeah.
It's kind of it acts a real
Yeah,
thing.
So we'll be drinking pop if he does come in.
I got a Red Bull right now.
I'm only worried about
I'm
one
good with
guy,
that.
and it's Chewy.
Why me? What did you call Dan the unfiltered part of the podcast? So, anyways, here's I think it's this one, right, where you smack him. Second video. Here's a video of Dan's
I like the one that you can see through the scope.
Okay,
Right
after
above
this,
it.
we got to close her
So
out.
this is like the scouting. You scout
he's
in
like-
the afternoon, and then I was in North Dakota snow goose. Go ahead.
Yeah, big.
So they can hear you.
But so like this is what a couple million snow goose look like,
Love it.
It's crazy.
and it was pretty awesome.
So we got to sit here and watch them and figure out where we can.
And then you just guess at where they're gonna go, and they didn't fly our way in the morning. They flew right over us.
It's cool.
That's awesome.
It's the black cloud. What's the white cloud?
So they come in,
crazy.
yeah, it's just like a washing machine.
Yeah.
They just come in and
Good for you motherfucker. Ready, here we go. Ready. Get ready, guys.
Down.
That's a fair part right
800
there.
full body decoys. Yeah,
I got invited to do a hunt this next week. Goose hunt,
fun. South Dakota
Minnesota.
goose.
Late goose, yeah.
No,
But he shoots a lot of geese. It's out by Candiota County. He called me. He's like, "Your Vikings buddies want a goose hunt next week?" I was like, "They're on bye right now.
Yeah,
Like they're like
they need to rest, bro.
Pat's in another state looking for houses right now, and because I don't think he's gonna stay in Florida this winter. That's usually where he goes, to Miami area. He got a hold of me yesterday, and he said he was looking at places in Texas right now. So
sweet.
that's what he's doing. And I was gonna say, when they come back from this weekend, they're gonna be full back into practice mode again. What'd you get? What's up?
That's it.
All right,
That's all we
guys.
had, man.
That was a fun little episode having Noah on, hearing
It
about
was.
Dan's goose hunt. That was cool.
Yeah.
A little fishing talk.
Well,
We're really getting good at this podcast stuff.
yeah, we can only make a podcast.
Yeah, so
for work.
if anyone that wants to come help us build a podcast studio in here, you're welcome. We do have a construction worker on the table though, so he might be able to help us more. We're thinking
I can do anything you want. I
we're
just
thinking
need a
of doing
designer.
we're doing an L up a platform up a little
Okay,
bit.
we can talk about this in a second.
Yeah, and then we'll have like corrugated steel in the front. It'll be like you know what I mean? And then we'll have a log that says Old Car Fishing Podcast, and we'll have a mounted real camera up there
Man, I'm with you. I got
with
you.
lights. You got it?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, Dan's in. So we're gonna have a new. You guys, we have cameras sitting on the table right now. This is kind of makeshift for the moment, but we're dedicated. If we're gonna do this, I think we're gonna go in big here, and we're gonna make it right. And then we can rent out studio space,
Mhm.
which is we could actually do.
I mean,
that.
we got studio space. It's just that it's
And once we get the studio thing in here, we got to put sound pads on all over the walls to make sure so there's no echo. It's a lot of work to do
I
it
think
right.
once you get all that stuff in there, there'll probably be enough stuff to stop.
You need
that
it.
go.
You need it.
yeah.
You gotta
All
have
the
it.
picture of my big fish.
We'll have
your
the
big
sound
fish.
stuff over
That's
here.
what we should get. We should get like the
We're gonna do
print-
it. Yeah,
the
we're
print
gonna do it.
pictures with like the felt, like the
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Canvas.
Canvas. That's
yeah,
what I was going
there's
for.
one right there.
And that would do it, right? If you had a bunch of those.
No, we'll get foam, sound foam. It works good.
Yeah, that's
We were in a studio in Robbinsdale, Crystal,
Mhm.
Doug Liveream's studio. Dude, good audio is something special, man. He's got all sound walls, and he has these Shure mics, which are the best mics you can get.
Doug doesn't mess around.
Crazy. It sounded so good. I was like, oh, that's
Sorry,
an expensive trip though.
I only had $40,000 to drop.
Well, those mics are only like $400.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit more
Uh-huh.
expensive setup.
But we appreciate you guys coming in here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make fun of Chewy more off stream.
Yeah. Luke won't be back next week.
I won't be. Yeah, you're right. I won't be now. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, next Wednesday. I think we'll have one next Wednesday. We will.
Probably.
Probably, I don't know, maybe get talk about ice fishing safety. I think
Maybe.
is going to be something we want
We
to
can
talk
talk
about.
about my ice fishing trip this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm at ice fish this weekend as well.
Fucking
I'm,
right.
I'm kind of thinking about it. If I can
But
get
thank you
out.
guys so much, and we'll
I
talk
can't
to you
believe
next
the
week.
Ice man hasn't even
See you
hit
guys.
the ice.
Nope, it stopped.